hey, here's a quick demo showing you how dimensional analysis can add value to your work, right? So we ran this new onboarding flow test and had a mix of good and bad results from this. But one that troubled me amongst my key metrics was this recommendation load time, which why was the recommendation coming in slower? And that was troubling, right? So before dimensional analysis, you drill into this and you'd see, sure enough, we're reminded what was the range of kind of the low and high end of the range of what the results are and what we think are most confidently is the result here. But now by choosing a dimension for device, I'm going to see more data. And the reason I'm curious is that I know that this feature is coded differently by different teams depending on platform. So let's choose device and see what we see. And there you go. So now we see that even though our overall result was here, as we were seeing before, every platform except for iOS was doing just fine, and iOS was way out here, much, much slower, right? And so I don't even need to go into the underlying data to know right now, hey, let's add the iOS team, take a closer look at their performance, and let's get that resolved, and then everything will be great. But if I wanted to, I can actually see more detail here, right? So there is a detailed underlying table that you can consult. So that is a dimensional analysis. And this graph kind of gives you the idea of the sort of situations where when something is, when there's uneven results, you want to be able to tease out where should you be putting your energy. You should be focusing your effort here, not asking these teams to speed things up. Hope that makes sense. Now I'll quickly show you how I set this up in the first place. When I first went in to do this, I went into the recommendation load time rather, and I didn't have a dimension, right? So it just had this overall was my only choice. So what I did was click Manage Dimensions. What that does is take you to the admin settings metric dimensions area, and then you can just add a dimension. And then I know that I'm looking for this device property. If I type that in there and give it a second to search, it's basically going to find out any place that's shown up recently in my incoming event stream. And sure enough, there's lots of those. And then once I choose it, you can see actually it's going to look up what the dimension values are that have been showing up. If I drop down this, we'll see what happens when it finishes loading those. You can go ahead and choose those. And add the dimension. Boom, and we're done. So that's as simple as that. So that's a one-time operation we just did. Now we can use that whenever we're drilling into our results. If you've just added the dimensions to an existing set of results, you're going to need to recalculate metrics for those dimensions to be picked up. So you may need to click that once after you set it up the first time, but then everything after that should all have those dimensions every time calculate runs anyway.